Hardening computer is a great step in augmenting your security. It will make your device more secure and minimize the threat of data loss or hacking. Firstly, we are going to review some of the general best practices when it comes to hardening your Windows computer and review some settings and changes that are quick and easy to make. In today's agenda, we are going to review the following topics. Create a non-admin account. Disable automatic login. Screensaver timeout. Using a password manager. Reviewing your firewall settings. Enable full disk encryption. Checking for software updates automatically. Disable remote access. Review your security settings. Create a non-admin account. If you intend to use a company device for non-business purposes or share it with a member of your family first, you should ensure that using a company device for other activities is permitted by your security policies. If it is permitted, it is important to set up a specific account for these activities. Before this happens, make sure to check your company's policy on acceptable use and their device management policy. This will outline what you can and cannot do with device, as certain orders in these certain organizations will not allow you to use the company computer for personal activities. When you get a new Windows laptop or desktop, the user setup process asks you for your name, a username and a password, and uses this information to set up your first user account. This first user by default is an administrator, meaning that they will have full access to your device. An administrator account can change or delete any file, install any software, which could be a risk if the software is malicious. Standard user account or non-admin account will have less access and, depending on permissions, can be very restricted. By default, they can only use, change and create files in their home directory, access old or unshared volumes depending on permissions. They can sometimes change non-secure preferences under settings. Even though a standard account or non-admin account is more limited, it can be useful for basic computer activity such as browsing the web or word processing. Disable automatic login. How to disable it? So first of all, on your keyboard, hit with a Windows key plus R to open up the run prompt. Type in regedit and click OK. This will bring up the registry editor. Go under H key local machine. Then under software. Then under Microsoft. Then under Windows. Current version. Authentication. Log on UI. And then you go user switch. There you will find this enabled key. Double click it and replace the 0 with a 1. Hit OK and that's it, we've done it. But we also have to make sure that Windows doesn't try to change the setting back. So we go where it says user switch. Right click on it. Hit permissions. Open up the advanced window. Click where it says disable inheritance. Select convert inherited permissions into explicit permissions. Then double click on where it says administrators. Make sure that where it says type it allowed and make sure it has full control. Hit OK. And then go where it says system. Double click on it and change type to deny. Then hit show advanced permissions. Clear all. And tick set value. Hit OK. And screensaver timeout. Setting your display to timeout is a great way to lessen the chances of someone accessing your device. If it is left unattended, the inactivity timeout is a configurable period of time during which a user can be inactive. After this period of time, the device is locked and will require a password to log back, and changing the setting will reduce the chances of anyone accessing your device. If you step away from it for a moment and forget to lock or close your screen, not only does it increase the security of your device, but can help increase battery life as well. On a laptop, the timeouts should be set according to the policy of your organization. To enable screensaver time, click on the Windows key and select Settings. Click on Personalization. Select Lock Screen on the left side panel. Click Screensaver Settings. Set wait time according to your display off in power option. And check on Resume Display Logout screen. Then click OK. Your screensaver will now be prompted. Use a password manager. Every organization should have a password policy, and when creating your account you should always follow this policy. It will ensure you're using at least the minimum requirements as outlined by your organization. Depending on the requirements and the number of applications, you may have a large number of complex passwords to remember. Passwords should never be written down and should be updated frequently. This can make remembering a number of passwords very difficult. Using a password manager allows for the creation of complex unique passwords, so they are more difficult to crack, and creates an encrypted way to store them, so the process of entering them can become automated. There are a number of great tools out there for password managers. No matter your needs, there should be one that fits your organization. As well with using a password manager, two-factor authentication should be used whenever possible on all accounts that support it. Along with using a password manager to harden your password, two-factor authentication adds an extra level of security to all your accounts. Turn on your firewall. Many users are interested in enabling or disabling their Windows firewall for various reasons. Some users want to utilize a different firewall, and some may have turners off by accident. Microsoft Windows 8 and Windows 10 both come with a pre-installed firewall utility. Although it may be disabled by default, here are some steps to enable the Windows firewall. Click on the Start menu or hit the Windows key. Open the Control panel. Click on System and Security. Click on Windows Firewall. If the Windows firewall is disabled, the state will be off. To turn it on, in the left navigation pane, click on Turn Windows Firewall on or off. In the Custom section in the Customize Settings window, turn on Windows Firewall and click OK. Enable full disk encryption. A common security practice is the encryption of important data files and folders for an additional layer of protection. By doing this, even if your device is stolen, the thieves will not be able to access your data. Encryption is key to making sure that your data is protected. The encryption process can vary between systems and devices, and today we're going to cover how to do this in Windows 8, Windows 10 using BitLocker. BitLocker is Microsoft's proprietary full disk encryption software, and following these simple steps will make sure your data is safe and protected. Locate your hard drive that you want to encrypt. Need to turn on BitLocker. Over here, what you get to this screen by basically going there and then typing in BitLocker. Okay, it's in Control panel. In case this isn't come up, basically brings up the screen. Now if you have a trusted platform module like a TPM chip on your computer, basically it'll go through nice and easy. But if you do not have that chip, it's not quite problem. You can use a software side. You need to go into group policies and turn something on. So what do we need to do for that? We just go in there and type in gpedit.msc. And that brings up this. Click on that. And then this will open. Go to Local Computer Policy. Then Administrative Templates. Then Windows Components. Then BitLocker Drive Encryption. Then Operating System Drives. And then of left window. Double-click on Require Additional Authentication at Startup. Make sure you click Enabled. Then make sure you click OK on there. OK, that's fine. Once that's done, you can turn BitLocker on. Now you have a couple of options. One, you can basically have a USB memory stick that is used every time you start up your computer. That stick needs to be in there because it's almost like, shall we say, like your own little passport to kind of like unlock the computer. It has the keys and all that stuff on. The other option is you can have a password. Basically when you boot up, you just type in a password and then you come in. Either way is fine. We'll go in this case enter a password. You want to have a nice complex password because you don't want someone breaking into your computer. We're just doing this for a simple demonstration right now, so we're gonna keep it simple. There we go. Alright. If there's some certain number of characters with a capital in there, now you need to back up a recovery key. Because basically your entire computer is going to be encrypted. Every single file, even shall. You can save it to a USB flash drive, save it to a file, but it'll need to be on another drive. That basically is not being encrypted. You can save it to your Microsoft account if you have a Windows Live account. Microsoft account, you log into it, basically it saves it to there. You could on the other hand also print a recovery key and then stick it on the wall, but obviously that's not that secure because everybody walking past will see it. We'll actually choose a USB drive. So that's all. Happy that's saved. Click Next. Encrypt, use the space only. Okay, so basically only the files that are currently being used on the computer are gonna be encrypted. If there's any free space, that's not gonna happen to that place right now. Later, when you filled it up, it does get encrypted automatically. However, let's assume you had some files in empty spaces. And then maybe you deleted them, okay, and maybe they're not completely deleted from the computer. So you might want to choose the last one. Okay, for a completely new computer, completely new system, you might want to choose a top. For something where you might have something that's appeared to be deleted but it's not, they might want encrypt and tie or drive, but as a lot slower. We're going to go with the first one. Click Next. Run BitLocker system check. The computer will restart now. We'll come back. And this is what's going to happen. Basically every time you boot up you need to enter in a password. Which is the password that you entered earlier. Or, if you basically had used your USB as kind of like a key, your USB needs to be inserted at this time. So click Enter. And after it restarts, we just go to here, type in BitLocker again. And then basically click on it in Control Panel. And then it will give us a status of what's happening. Basically says BitLocker encrypting. It has mentioned it does take quite a decent amount of time. Hello, now we're going to have a quick look at how to check using Windows PowerShell. What is the status of BitLocker? Very simply, all we need to do is type and manage, and then space, status. Click Enter. And it will tell us what's happening with our drives. For example, our C drive we're encrypting, it is currently being encrypted is at 89.7%. It's using AES 128 encryption. Advanced encrypted 6 systems. If you were to go for 256, it would actually slow down your system and performance would have been not as good. And we have a memory stick in here which is fully decrypted. And we'll probably show you now how to set that up. It's called BitLocker to go. When our computer is fully encrypted, okay, our hard drives, fixed disks. It'll say BitLocker on for all the fixed disks, and that's done providing we've enabled them. It's another little BitLocker called BitLocker to go, which is basically encrypting your USB memory sticks etc. Make it as external little drives. Turn on BitLocker. Let's do it for our removable disk. Make sure you don't take it out and plug it back in because things can really go wrong. If you have a smart card, you can use a smart card or you can use a password. Make sure it's a complex password. We're just using something simple here for the sake of it. Click Next. Make sure you save your recovery key because if things do go wrong you would need that recovery key saved to a file. We'll save it in this case the desktop, not a good place to save it, but we're just doing it for the sake of an demonstration. Once again you have the choice full disk or only the use space. We're going with just the use space only. It's faster. Click there, start encrypting. We don't have too much on the thing so it should literally take a few seconds. There we go, we're almost finished. That's perfectly done. So basically BitLocker is now on for removable disk. Or this one only, and basically the fixed drives that were on the computer. You can turn on auto unlock if you want to, that might be quite nice in case you forget passwords etc. Check for software updates automatically. The software on your devices, whether the operating system or third-party applications, should be updated as often as possible. While some organizations may have the ability to push updates remotely or from a server environment, it may not be possible for all companies. Windows has a built-in software update tool. Windows Update. To enable this, tap or click the Start button followed by clicking on Settings from Settings. Click on Update and Security. Choose Windows Update from the menu on the left, assuming It's not already selected. Click on the Advanced Options link on the right-hand side, which will open a window titled Choose How Updates Are Installed. Select Automatic, which is the recommended setting from the drop-down. Check Give Me Updates for other Microsoft products. Will I update Windows? This will install any updates for other Microsoft products, such as Windows Office or Microsoft Office. Do not check the Defer Upgrades option. This will allow for downloads to proceed as soon as they are available, and will ensure that any security patches are installed without delay. Disable Remote Access. Windows Remote Desktop allows you or others to connect to your computer remotely over a network connection, effectively accessing everything on your computer as if they were directly connected to it. Unfortunately, Remote Desktop can be exploited by hackers to gain control of remote systems and install malware or steal personal information. It's a good idea to keep the feature turned off unless you actively need it, and it is not enabled by default. Once enabled, however, it is easy to disable. Windows 10 comes with Remote Desktop already installed, so you don't have to have it explicitly installed. Once installed and set up, disabling it is similar to previous versions of Windows, and you can use the Cortana search box or hit the Windows key and enter Remote Settings. Select Allow Remote Access to your computer. This may seem a little counterintuitive, but this actually opens the Control Panel dialog. For the Remote Systems property, check Don't Allow Remote Connections to this computer. This will disable remote access. Finally, reviewing your security settings. What applications are you sharing your personal location with? What do the apps you have installed have access to on your device? If you are unsure or want to prevent location or other access, you need to review your security and privacy settings. To do this, click Start and press the Windows key. Select Settings and then select Privacy Settings and then